Okay, thank you all for joining us. My name is SummerShineAllDay, and we have our new show that is called Vegan Demon Slaying, or Vegan Demon Slayers with Kimmy and Santos Bonacci, and I'm just going to let them take it away.
Thanks, Summer.
No problem.
Hello, Santos.
How are you, Kimmy?
I'm very well. How are you?
Very, very well. Thank you. And very excited about this subject. Two things that I would love to elaborate on and wouldn't want to talk about anything else other than good diet, which is the vegan diet for good health, and and to slay demons, which are erroneous service to self concepts, entities, beings, and creatures. So thanks for joining me.
Yeah, I'm really happy to do this, and yeah, I'm really happy to join you, and let's do this. So I want to know,
Absolutely.
for you, when did you decide to become a vegan, and why did you decide to become a vegan?
Well, I've struggled actually with vegan. I've been vegetarian for 8 years, and I've been vegan on and off because, strictly speaking, I've got a tea here, an infusion, and I have honey in it, right?
Oh,
so,
yeah, okay.
That is so annoying to me. I mean, I totally get it, but just my own opinion, that used to really annoy me, but continue.
Summer.
Yeah, but I don't do the other things like eggs, any milk products. I haven't done that for years and years and years because I know how filthy, putrid milk and dairy products are. And so, so I can be classed as vegan with the exception that I have honey. So, you know, maybe one day I'll get rid of that and probably be 100% vegan, but put it this way, I'm 99% vegan, and that's good enough for me.
Well, you can have local honey, right? And local honey, you're not really interfering with the bees?
Yes, we do our own honey here on the property.
Yeah, that's good. So for me, I've been a vegan for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a vegetarian. And I just basically, I didn't have milk anyway because I used to have some digestive issues, and a digestive hydro nurse that, you know, she basically told me to not have any milk. So I didn't have any milk. So all I had to do to become vegan was to not have eggs. And since I had stopped having eggs, actually, I really felt I just expanded consciously, and yeah, I just really don't want any of that shit inside my body, the cheese and the milk and the eggs and all that stuff. It's really got a low vibration, and today that's why I think I've been drawn to, you know, all these people online who are, you know, who are talking about this. And I think people need to realize what they're putting in their bodies and the negative effects and the backlog of effects that this is actually having on their body and their mental state of mind and their mood. And I think they really need to know about this. What do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, dairy products and all of that, especially in the Western countries, the cows that we have are hybrid cows, and that alone tells you that the milk is not fit for human consumption. The fact that they are hybrid. In India, they have the original breeds. So if you're going to have milk in India, that's fine. The Hare Krishnas drink the cow's milk from their loved cows, and that's perfectly fine. They make ghee for cooking, and it's great for cooking with. And but in the West, you go
on. Oh, but that's not a really highly processed stuff. I mean, that's probably got lots of goodness in it, you know. And we're talking about, these are old, ancient. In these days, that people, you know, that they weren't misused, the animals, you know.
Yes, yes, that's right. They love the animals.
Sacred in India.
Sacred.
Yep. So they are looked after, and the products from these animals are pure. Whereas here, our animals are tortured. Really,
Yeah.
they're injected with all kinds of vaccines which disturb their nervous system, pollute their blood. They are given boosters like DDT in the grass, so they're eating chemicals from the grass and saturating their blood and flesh with all of these putrid chemicals. Then, of course, when they put the milk out, which is already acidic, they homogenize it and pasteurize it. They've done tests on pasteurization and given it to calves, and the calves die within weeks that are fed pasteurized milk. So why are they giving it to human beings? Because they are murderous, they are slanderous, murderers. And besides that, the cows that we eat from the supermarkets and everything like that, they have been tortured. They have been brutalized. The fear that these animals undergo before they are being killed, it is not worth even smelling the meat. And then on top of that, the butchers chemicals and preservatives on it to keep it nice and red, because the moment you cut the head off an animal, that flesh is putrefying. It's not living, it is dead. So cooking it, putting spices on it and all of these nice things, it matters not. You are eating dead, putrefying flesh. Hence, look around at all the people who eat meat. They look like shit, they smell like shit, and they are full of shit. Why do I say that? Well, because they've got these big, fat intestines. You see them walking around and they're all stiff like this. That's because the animal spirit has invested their bodies, and the putrefying flesh is stuck to their intestines, and it is seeking a way to get out, and it can't. And so it is backed up in the body, and they're getting fatter and fatter, and they're getting more diseases like arthritis, rheumatism, asthma, piles, all from meat eating. The only reason people are dying is because they are putting dead carcass, dead corpse of sentient beings into their bodies.
Yeah, it's
That's why people are dying.
It really is disgusting, and your description is absolutely correct, that they are walking around eating this fear and the negativity. They are absolutely petrified when they die. You've obviously watched loads of Earthlings. It's just disgusting, and it's not something that, if you are looking to evolve, if you're looking to work through your chakras, you can't be putting this shit inside your body, because that's what it is. It's shit, basically, and it keeps people locked into their lower, the root chakra and all these, not past the heart. I would say it's probably, you want to work with your heart and your head, not at the bottom, and that's where it's locking you down, and that's also why people are so unhappy, and they're so ignorant, they don't even realize, really.
Because they have an animal brain. I mean, when you just said you're eating so many souls. I mean, so not your mentality, your psychicness is just extremely toxic. I mean, you could be just it's disgusting. Like eating all of those souls. Like you're not just eating, one hamburger and you think it's like one animal soul. It's like they grind up that beef. There's hundreds of animal souls in that one hamburger. So.
Well, you're like polluting your soul, basically, and it's the same with alcohol. It's the same with smoking, like excessive cigarettes. I don't think there's anything wrong with smoking a cigarette once in a while, having a drink, but when people do it to excess and either eating meat, smoking, they're just polluting their soul completely.
Gluttony, yeah.
And they're wrecking their own. They're basically, I think they're wasting their life. I mean, I know everybody has a choice, but they're so uninformed, and I guess that's why we're doing these videos, because we want to inform people and make them aware, you know.
Yes, look, I would love to warn the meat eaters. From the bottom of my heart, all scriptures condemn meat eating. It is an aberration, and no meat eater will ascend. No meat eater will ascend. They will not enter the heart. They will not enter the high heaven, the head, and activate the dormant brain cells. They will not ascend the oil. The body is acidic. It is putrid. It is foul, and none of the alchemical processes can function properly to activate the individual so that he or she will be self-realized. It is harmful to the individual. It is harmful to animals. It is harmful to the Creator. It is harmful to the cosmos, and they won't go to heaven. Please don't think, anyone who's eating meat, don't think you're going to heaven or wherever you think you're going, to the better places. In Bhagavad Gita, it talks about all the beautiful higher places that we can aspire to. We can go to Vrindavan, which is at the very, very top. We can go to Vaikuntha, which is just below that. We can go to Brahmajyoti, which is the white light, where a lot of people think they're going to be, you know, self-realized and blissed out forever. You can go to the void. You can go to the nil and all of these places. Well, you will definitely go to the void if you are a meat eater. And the void is not a place where you want to go. Neither is the white light. And meat eaters will be. They will absolutely be condemned. They will not ascend and go to any decent place. Here is how Bhagavad Gita explains it. Here is a picture of where they say that all meat eaters will reincarnate as the animals that they eat and will be slaughtered by the animals and eaten by the animals that they eat. Here it says, animal killers do not know that in the future the animal will have a body suitable to kill them. That is the law of nature. So what I'm saying is, I'm urging all meat eaters to rethink this disgusting habit. It's putrid,
it is a habit. Yeah.
It's addictions. Yeah.
It's traditions as well. It's because they have it at Christmas time. You know, the turkey or Thanksgiving. Or the Australians with their lamb, where they had a new ad or something for the lamb, and because everybody's so programmed, they think they have to live out these programs and these traditions, and if they're not, like, they're a bad person. And thou shalt not kill. I mean, we should talk about Christians. I mean, they don't exactly teach people to not eat meat, do they? In the church. So people are really they're just lost. They don't know that this is happening to them, that they're not going to ascend, even if they're going to church every Sunday,
That's right.
Crazy.
The churches are involved in this because the churches are so degraded and so lying that they teach people these demonic practices of eating the rotten corpses of sentient beings called animals who don't have speech. They have voice, but they don't have speech. Therefore, since they cannot intelligibly understand the screams of animals when they are being slaughtered, and have a look at the word slaughter, by the way, they like to use these nice clinical, cool, calming words to sort of downgrade their crimes. Slaughter, when you take the S off slaughter, you're left with laughter. And the universe is laughing at you because it's not slaughter, it is murder. Murder. You are murderous. Whoever you are, whether you eat a prawn, a chicken wing, a pig's bum, you're bacon and eggs for breakfast, that's all you're eating, pig's bums, and you are what you eat. So you eat pig's bums, you are a swine ass. And so I don't accept this word slaughter, killing and everything. Murder. You are murderous.
No, it's murder.
Absolutely. Even if you're not the one that does it by your own hands. I mean, you're too much of a coward or too lazy to go do it yourself, because I guarantee you, if you had to be the one to go out there and get that blood on your hands, you would really rethink your life. So.
Yeah. But because they see it all in supermarkets, it's like, ooh. And the supermarkets do such a good job at making it. I mean, they do
convenient
offers on meat, and then the meat doesn't always go, and it's all at the front of the store. I don't know what it's like in the US and Australia, but all the meat is at the front of the store, and it's like what they're trying to say, these supermarkets, is it's a necessity, it's essential. You know.
Yep. So as for these people who are so clever that they downgrade their crimes by clever use of sophisticated words which, you know, alleviate their guilt, because if you think about it, you're a carcass cruncher. You're biting into death and absorbing death into your body, polluting the bloodstream, polluting the mind with animal consciousness. How can you ascend if you have animal parts in your body? You're floating around in your brain.
You can't.
Blood flowing.
Yeah.
You cannot ascend. And how can you be?
No.
See, I say to people, some people write to me and say, "Oh, can I trust this guy who is teaching the truth and so forth?" I say to them, just ask one question: do they eat meat? Anyone out there who's calling themselves a truther, who is eating meat, they are not truthers. They are half-truthers. In other words, they are liars.
Yeah.
You can only trust a vegetarian. You cannot trust a meat eater. They are liars. All meat eaters are liars. Nothing but lies come from their mouths. So for all the truthers out there that eat meat and you think you're a truther, you are a buffoon, a murderer, and you're not ascending, you're not teaching truth, you're teaching a crock of shit. Get off, shut your gob, go out and do 7 years of vegetarian before you even come back to the internet and talk any truth at all, you barbecuing, carcass-crunching idiot morons. Sorry to be so brutal, but it's your life that's at risk, not mine. And besides, have a look at how ugly meat eaters look. Don't they just look ugly? Only vegans look good. They're good-looking people. The humanity comes out of their eyes. Their eyes glow with human love, and their heart shines through their eyes.
It really does, and that's actually, Santos, I've noticed that about vegans and people who are enlightened, is that they really have beautiful, big, shiny eyes, and they look hydrated. Their skin looks well hydrated. They just look, and their hair shines. It's because they're not eating death. They're not eating this negative energy. So they're full of love and beautiful energies, and you can tell straight away when somebody's like that. I certainly can, from quite far away, actually.
The purity of the soul inside shines through the body, and it can turn anybody from, like, I guess you could, if you're going to rate somebody, from like a 5 to like a 9, just because the inner beauty, you know, it just takes over the entire being. It
does, and people in the street, they turn and look at you because you're so vibrant, because you've got so much beautiful life in you. You know, you've got so much light in your cells. Your cells are not coated in death and horrible, putrid stuff, you know.
Yeah, you can see them from miles away, vegans. They're just good-looking. The humanity's coming through. It comes through the pores of the skin, and you can just tell that they are settled and they're not murderers anymore. You will never, ever see a vegetarian in any of the mercenary armies of Blackwater and Halliburton and all of these killing organizations in the world today. None of those guys out there in the wars today are vegetarian, guys. None of them. Not a one.
No,
there's never been one vegetarian join an army in history, period. Because killing begets killing. Murdering begets murdering. And if we're going to stop murdering in our wars, we have to stop murdering in our homes. Why is it that we are so goddamn stupid that we can butcher cows and pigs and stuff them in our fridges when we've got pets like dogs and cats? We spend thousands of dollars fixing their little, you know, oh, my cat's, I've got to take him to the vet, $1,000 bill. Why, this is what I say to meat eaters, why don't you get your dog, get a nice sharp knife, grab it by the ears, slice its head off, slice parts of its body, put it on the barbecue, and invite your friends over and have some dog. Why don't you? go and have some dog, because that's what Bhagavad Gita calls meat eaters. There's only one name for them: dog eaters. Now, I don't like that word because I think dogs are so loyal and so beautiful. I like to call them swine eaters. In fact, in all my work, meat eaters are just swine eaters because they act like swine. And even that, I mean, pigs are beautiful animals, but just to get the point across, dog eater, swine eater, it's just not worth it. You will perish in perdition, probably for all of eternity, just for this gross, murderous, disgusting, vile habit. When we have plenty of fruits, there's bananas to no end, apples, nuts, seeds, vegetables, fruits. You can stuff yourself like a glutton with all the good things that the earth has to provide.
Avocados.
I was just about to say the same thing. Yes.
Avocados are amazing.
I love them. I just wanted to add on to what you guys were saying about meat eaters. I personally, from observing and just, I guess, meditating on this, I really don't like to, I don't know the word I'm trying to use, but I look at vegetarians right up there with meat eaters, because if they're participating in cheese and eggs and dairy, those animals are still being used to death for their milk, and then are just going to be slaughtered for meat whenever they cannot produce any more milk. So I truly just do not condone vegetarianism at all, unless you have a cow on your farm and you're doing it yourself. Like, if you're going to do that, that's great. But I mean, you're also eating chicken, period. I mean, like, that's disgusting. Like, you're eating a chicken, period. So I don't, and like, I just have a neighbor, or a roommate technically, who is just living off of cheese and milk, and it just, you can tell he's no different than a meat eater mentally to me. Like, it just shows completely. So that was just my take on that.
Well, chickens don't actually lay that many eggs, and if you look, like when they're like in battery farms, they make them produce loads of eggs. And if you go to any chicken in nature and try and take one of their eggs, they get really agitated by you, like they try and attack you. And
I've experienced that. I've gone to a farm. Yeah.
So basically, when they say I got them from the next door neighbor, they're still stealing their eggs. They're still taking their babies, because those eggs would have turned into chicks.
They do not like that. I've experienced that, because this was whenever I was trying vegetarian. Well, I was vegetarian, but I was eating eggs, and that was the only thing I would eat. I didn't eat cheese or milk. I never liked milk. I didn't really like cheese that much. And so I went to a friend's farm, and he's like, "Yeah, I have a bunch of eggs," and that hen was so pissed, and I just felt really guilty. I mean, I felt really bad for doing that.
Yeah. Because they feel that they feel it, you know. That's their babies, you know, and so many people would go, "Oh, but they're just animals." I can't stand people that have that attitude. I can't stand it. Yeah.
Well, Kimmy, girls, I'm going to in time. I'm going to be reading from all the great philosophers and all the great transcendental books, showing that you cannot use that reasoning. You cannot say, "Oh, they're just animals."
No,
if you say that, that shows great stupidity and unconsciousness, because animals are intelligent, and they have feelings, and they have love, and they have reason, and they are even logical. Animals they have all the attributes that humans have, except for that two-way consciousness, self-conscious aspect, which make humans special. But apart from that, they are our brothers, and we should not ever put any burdens on any animals whatsoever, nor should we be stealing their products unless those animals, as they do in India, are loved and they have an excess of, say, milk or something like that. That is acceptable in the scriptures. That's the only reason why I have honey, because I know that it is acceptable to be able to get from the abundance of what the animals produce. This is a provision, you see, because the Creator does not give us things. The Creator provides things.
Yeah.
And so it's up to us to be intelligent enough to take a small portion of what is provided. This is what agriculture and big business has failed to understand. They steal everything from the cows. So, for instance, here in Australia, the cows are artificially inseminated so that they always have calves, so that they will always constantly have milk.
Right.
And these cows die at a quarter of their lifespan because they are always constantly making babies and producing milk, and they are murdered. So in our Western, very, very clever culture, we actually take everything from the cow. You know, I mean, what don't humans eat? They eat the heart of the cow. They have the bones and give it to their dogs. They eat the testicles, or they have bull's testicles in their restaurant. So how clever. Cuisine. And they eat,
what?
And they eat,
it's so bad.
It is insanity. So
yeah,
this is where the scriptures allow us to share with the animals in giving them and taking some of the things that they provide, as long as you do not, you always take a 10th part. You do not take 9/10 or 10/10 as they do in our greedy, corporate, capitalistic, business mentality culture that we have. This is pure insanity, and you wonder why the world is in such a mess. It all starts with the way we treat animals. We have to forgive the animals and turn around and love the animals.
It's our relationship towards anything in our surroundings. I think not just animals. It's plants and the trees, and the way we recognize them as not separate to us, but if you know, they are us, actually. If you want, really what I think is that they're actually part of us. And if we're killing them and we're hurting them, I mean, like Santos is saying about cows, like you're saying, Santos, about cows and what they use for cows. They use everything for cows. Leather, milk, everything. Yeah, everything. And they're going to get some, you know, they're going to get their comeback, I'm sure.
I just think it's really ironic that it's given the title the most holiest of animals, and they are treating it like worse than any animal on the face of the planet. If you really, isn't that ironic? Like,
I mean, have you seen the fear in their eyes? That when they don't, like I say to people, I say, do you think that cow would walk into a slaughter stand or a murder stand, or run in a field free and eat the grass? What do you think they would do? And it's a simple question, and it basically answers itself. But people have all these ideas that, oh, it's a cow, you know, it's just a cow. It's ridiculous.
Oh yes, we're just going to clinically slaughter the cow for the benefit of our stomachs. It's something that we do in civilization. No, you're murdering the cow. You're putting the murder and the bloodshed and the guilt on your own head, and you will perish in perdition in horrible places after your body has ceased to exist on this plane, and the spirit goes off to other planes, and you will go off to horrible places. There's just no way around this. There's no way around this. And when you look at it, have a think about this, girls. Here we are, putting animals in cages and fences and giving them all sorts of shitty food so that, you know, we can fatten them up. You know, in France, the geese there, they have a hose attached to their mouths constantly from the moment they're born, and they're pumped with food so that they can be really fat, and so that their livers will expand to the size of a watermelon, so that the French can have pâté. Or because we have pâté in our restaurants, we are so cultured. Well,
yeah,
this is nothing but disgusting. And then people wonder, oh, and they hate the controllers that are parasiting off us, and we're paying taxes all the time, and we're paying all kinds of rates and exorbitant tolls and all kinds of fees that we have to pay to live on this planet. Well, if you don't want controllers to parasite off you, I say to meat eaters, you need to stop parasiting off animals, because as you treat animals, so the controllers will treat you, and they will forever harvest your energy, and they will always zap you and bring you into their courts and make you pay and pay and pay for everything, and they will forever send you to wars and kill your brothers in foreign lands, and they will forever channel your energy and sap it off you and zap you of your energy because of the way you unconsciously treat animals.
That's a great point, Santos. Oh my God. My dad is always complaining about all of the taxes he has to pay as a small business owner. He's just always griping and complaining. And you just put that together for me completely. I'm just like, yeah, well, why don't you put down the beef jerky? Why don't you stop eating bacon? Why don't you do this, you know? Nobody wants to have that responsibility and take back their mind. Like, think about it.
Yeah, I urge people to reclaim their minds. Have a human mind. The moment you put any flesh of an animal in your beautiful human body, you will pollute your mind. And this is what is polluting people, so that they cannot see, they cannot think. Their eyes are half open, and their mind is only partially working, and their body is polluted and acidic. Let me share with you one of the greatest writers of all time, Ovid, from 2,000 years ago. Caesar Augustus, he what's the word? Banned Ovid from writing, and he actually vanquished him to an island far away from Rome, because Ovid was such a truth speaker, and he was a great fan of the most famous vegetarian in history, Pythagoras. In fact, all vegetarians in history were called Pythagoreans. Pythagoras was one of the greatest geniuses of history. In fact, all geniuses are vegetarians, bar none, period. All the dunces were meat eaters in history, all of them. The murderers, the idiots. Only vegetarians or vegans became geniuses. And so in his beautiful Metamorphoses, which means transmutation and sublimation of the human into a god, because that's why we're here. See the animal horns, the human is coming out like Sagittarius, that the human is rising above the animal nature by adopting human traits, by adopting human habits, and by ceasing to murder and eat corpses, etc. So I'm going to start my my ancient philosophical sharings with Ovid, okay, and then we're going to go to Leonardo da Vinci, Seneca, Porphyry, Plutarch, and many more of the great ones, to see what they had to say, and so that we can share greatness with people so that they can be inspired. Please, here comes, I'm going to read some of the portions from the chapter book 15, dealing with Pythagoras. Okay, so here we go. Mortals, refrain from defiling your bodies with sinful feasting, for you have the fruits of the earth and the arbors, whose branches bow with their burden. For you the grapes ripen. For you the delicious greens are made tender by cooking. Milk is permitted to you too, and thyme-scented honey. Earth is abundantly wealthy and freely provides you her gentle sustenance, offered without any bloodshed. Some of the beasts do not eat flesh to allay their own hunger, although not all of them, for horses, sheep, and cattle feed upon grasses, but those of untamable nature Armenian tigers, furious lions, wolves and bears too. These creatures take pleasure in feasting on what they have slaughtered. What an indecency, mingling entrails with entrails, fattening one on the flesh from another one's body, saving the life of one by another's destruction. Surrounded by all of this wealth, so freely provided by earth, the best of all mothers, you wholly ignore it, choosing to mangle sad flesh with your cruel teeth, and delighted again to act out the rites of the Cyclops, unable ever to placate your stomach's voraciousness, your stomach's voracious desires, until at last you have murdered another. There you go, murdered. Ovid knows right choice. He's a poet, one of the greatest poets who ever lived, and vegetarian, of course, because how do you get greatness? Through the vegetarian path. There is no other way.
It's true.
And I'm backing 100% veganism. I'm being honest with folks. I'm still taking honey. But I am only promoting veganism as the ultimate way. And if you want to be good looking and sexy and have great health, I've never had a problem in my life. Never. Ever. I don't have piles. I don't have mental disorders. I don't have bad breath. I don't stink. I don't have bad BO. I don't have arthritis, rheumatism, asthma, heart, anything. Nothing. Absolutely nothing, because I don't murder.
Oh, I just wanted to say before you continue, Santos, because I keep wanting to tell you this, but the opportunity just, has slipped me. You radiate. Like, your health is just completely, like, the way you look in your face is just so amazing, just the transformation. I mean, you could see that something was going on. Eilish talked about that in the show that you did with her. But holy crap, Santos, like, you went back in time. Absolutely. You are just sparkling.
Thanks, sister. And I can say the same for you too, guys.
Aww.
Absolutely. You girls just instill inspiration into me, because you are so beautiful. You are so beautiful. Not only your faces are so delightful to contemplate and behold, but your souls and your nature and your beauty is just radiating the energy of Radharani, goddess, pure and sweet. And I hope that any meat-eating women out there will just look at you and say, I want to look as sexy and as goddess as that. I hope so.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of them, the problem is, Santos, is that you've got a lot of haters out there. I don't know if you feel that. There's a lot of jealous women, especially if you're, if you've got a nice face and you talk well, and there's a lot of haters out there. Sometimes it can be hard to actually put your point across to women, because they're just jealous. But I guess that's their journey at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, look, I had to struggle with my health, even though when I was a vegetarian, I was not looking good a few years back. And people would say, oh, you need to eat meat. You look, you look like you're suffering with malnutrition. And I was suffering with malnutrition. And the reason why was because I had tapeworms in me. And so I did an Andreas Moritz fast this time last year. And I expelled a tapeworm. I don't know how long that tapeworm was, but it was ugly. And I saw it, and I saw it in the toilet. After I did my Andreas Moritz cleanse fast.
I've done that, Santos.
I expelled liver stones, gallbladder stones, and liver, gallbladder, and what are the other stones?
Kidney?
There's a kidney stones. There's a separate flush for the kidney stones, I think.
Yeah, well, I did that, and I'm so happy now, because I have all the answers for all of those naysayers who would look at me and say, well, you're underweight, you don't look good, and I did not look good. I looked like death on legs, and I was wondering why. And when I started making presentations in 2010, on the holy science and astrology and astrotheology and syncretism. I was wondering, how am I going to do this without putting my ugly face on the screen, because I don't look good and I'm promoting veganism and people are just going to be put off by it. But I knew that there was only one way to do that. I had to put my face on my products so that people could see that what you see is what you get, honesty and truth. And I did that, and I did that knowing very, very well that unconscious, half-cocked, half-witted, jealous type people who justifying the murder of animals were going to attack me and say, well, you don't look good. And this is what they do. They look and they look. You see, what they do is they commit the fallacy of judging a fish by how well it can climb a tree. Never judge a fish by how well it can climb a tree, because they can't climb trees. So if you look at a vegan and that vegan is malnourished, don't blame it on the veganism. There is other factors, because only eating meat is putrid and death-dealing and sickly and the contributing reason for all diseases. Veganism leads to a very, very long life. Vegans can live up to 250, 300 years in these current circumstances.
It's called it's alkaline, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It's the alkalinity of the body.
My personal experience with that, because once I went vegan, you know, I had to go through a lot of detox, and a lot of things were coming up on my face. Like I had this, I don't know what it was, but it was just something huge, like on the side of my face, and then over here, and then recently, in these past few months, I've been getting really huge styes on my eye, and my dad is like, you haven't had those since you were a baby, like, you need to eat a piece of bacon or something, and I'm just like, I am in tune, I know what's going on in my body, and like other people are looking at me saying, well, you should probably go to the doctor. I'm like, don't tell me what I need to do. I know what's going on in my body, okay? I know that this has to happen, and a lot of it's spiritual that comes out and manifests in the physical. So a lot of things that I was detoxing may have not even been, it would just come out as that. You know, you could look at your eyes, and that's the kidneys anyway, so a lot of things were coming out of my kidneys, you know, so anyways.
Yep. So as I said, do not judge a fish by how well it can climb a tree. And you see, this is what the naysayers and the half-intelligent, unconscious ones who have not activated their higher minds, their transcendental mind, because we have a mundane mind, which is animalistic, and it is governed by the medulla oblongata and the solar plexus. This is purely animalistic mind. And it's nothing wrong with it. It's a great mind. We have 4 brains in the system. We have the cerebellum, the cerebrum at the top. We have the cerebellum at the back here, and in the middle we have the midbrain and the medulla oblongata, which controls all the involuntary functions of the body. And then we have the solar plexus, which receives images, pictures, and it responds to those pictures. And most people have been educated to use the solar plexus to do all of their thinking. They have not activated any of this, because meat eating keeps the oils, the cristic oils in the cerebrospinal system. These cristic oils are subdued and toxic with acid, because the moment you put flesh in your body, it does not go through your body. It sticks to your intestinal wall, and it looks for places to it seeks for places to exit the body rather than the natural channels. It does not try to. It doesn't go through the natural channels. It just goes all the poisons and toxins from the putrid flesh goes to all the organs, and this is why people are overweight and fat and look so ugly. It's because of ingesting animals.
And it's the protein as well. It's the protein that it's very highly concentrated forms of protein is meats. And I think that is a cause of obesity as well. It's the fats in meat are grotesque, saturated nasty, killing fats. I mean, and all acidity as well. You know, it's like if you look at the pH scale for you know, just in general, like on Google, you know, the acid and pH, the alkaline. If you look at the acid forming foods, most of it's eggs, dairy, and meat. So is that itself not a sign to people? And you know, you get like these naturopaths and nutritionists who advocate eating meat. I even told a nutritionist once about a liver flush, about the liver flushes. I do the Andrea Moritz, and they were like, "We don't advocate that. We don't advocate that." And I'm like, "Whoa!" Like, I was really shocked.
That doesn't put money in their pockets, of course.
Yeah.
That's right. It doesn't keep you going back to them so that they can give you antacids and something for your arthritis and something to suck your piles back in, because all that meat is just pushing your backside out of your backside. People just don't think they're like animals. And then you've got these idiots that teach about paleo diet. Oh, we were designed to have a paleo diet. Morons. Man, I wish I could smash them off their soapboxes. And they're writing books and videos and DVDs showing how you can have nice cuts of organic meat and you can stick that in your gob and you can be healthy. I'll tell you what, the stupidity abounds on this planet. The morons abound. They should read Ovid.
Yeah, I feel like the biggest demon on this planet is gluttony. I really, truly feel like that's because it's blinding you from everything else, because you're being ruled by this demon that has just taken over your mind. Like, you're not even thinking anymore. It's, I gotta get this meat, I gotta get this food, you know? I mean, and that can be with anybody.
It's emotional. It's kind of, you know, when people feel low emotions like anger and sadness, and like they need to feel comfort, they use those lower energies through meat, so it kind of matches their vibration, so they're constantly addicted to those lower vibrational foods.
Great point.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely. And you're right there, Summer. It is demonism, pure and simple. Only service to self, demons that have infested our beautiful plain earth have taught these things, such things as to murder our fellow living beings on this planet. And rather than letting them, I mean, you look at animals, they want to live. Try grabbing the throat of your pet dog and putting a sharp knife to it and start slicing the throat of your pet dog and see how that dog will yelp for its life. Why?
I know.
Because it is afraid of death. Animals are afraid of death. They don't want to die. They want to live.
Yeah, they don't want to die.
And they have a purpose. And their purpose is to be born, live their life, die of old age, and experience everything that that animal was supposed to experience. It was not intended to be intervened by a human being to snap its life from it and to take it just because its stomach desired to devour that stink corpse. This is
what about it is. And what about people that say they say, well, if we don't eat all the animals, then where are all the animals going to go? I mean, that's ridiculous.
Well, isn't it funny that nature knows how to replicate its own kinds? If elephants replicated at the rate of mosquitoes and flies, we would be overrun by elephants. But nature does not allow that.
No,
and
that's right.
Cows, if cows weren't artificially inseminated and forced to produce and reproduce, they would probably just have one calf a lifetime, and they would know how to replicate so as that their kind would be balanced on the earth. Nature is balanced. It always seeks that balance. And it knows all of its kinds in balance. Therefore, we have billions and billions of flies, but we only have thousands and thousands of tigers.
Parasitic versus homeostasis. I mean, you have something that is in complete homeostasis, does not commit any murderous acts, and we have more of those, and they're bigger. And then we have, well, we have less of those, but they're huge. They're an elephant compared to a mosquito, but you have, like you just said, billions of mosquitoes, but they're parasitic. So we'll have more of those, but they're smaller. They tend to be smaller. It's just that balance.
Yep. And so just apply a little bit of intelligence, I say to people. Do you have intelligence? Do you know what that is? Do you have your own mind? Are you in control of your mind? If you have your own intelligence and think things through from woe to go. See, people start thinking and then they go, oh, that hurts. Oh, my God. And then they stop thinking. And so they never think things through. I always say, if you want syncretism, if you want wisdom, if you want intelligence, you have to think things through till the end. All of my syncretism.
Like pay attention.
Pay attention. Pay attention.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let me continue on, dear sisters, because Ovid is godlike, as we all are. Once we realize the true path that we should be walking. So he goes on to say, again, under the 15th chapter of Pythagoras, the most famous vegetarian of history. In fact, you can exchange the word vegetarianism for Pythagorean. This is how great the man was. And Plato was a vegetarian, Porphyry, Plutarch, Iamblichus, all the greats, all of them, every single one of them, as you will learn in these shows that we are going to do, because on every show that we're going to do on vegan demon slaying, we are going to bring out the wisdom from the ancients and to show how murdering of animals and eating their dead corpses is an aberration, nothing short of a disgusting aberration. And anyone who delights in eating meat should condemn themselves and just absolutely isolate them from the rest of humanity as demon worshippers. All meat eaters are demon worshippers. Whether they know it or not, I don't care. That's what they are, and their destiny shall be with the demons. And we know where the demons are going. They're not going to any nice place.
But they need their protein, Santos. They need their protein.
Oh, yes, protein. Well, I'll advise them to check out the work of Dr. Sebi, S-E-B-I, Dr. Sebi, and the work of Dr. Robert Young. Please, just go to one of Dr. Robert Young's videos, and he explains that protein is a crock of shit. You cannot get it from animals. You cannot get it from animals. And iron, you can't get iron from animals. It's the wrong isotope. It's the isotope that you can make buildings with and steel sheds. So what are you doing? You're putting iron that is the same as the iron for buildings into your body. It's the wrong isotope. You can't ingest it. Cannot get any benefit whatsoever from animal eating. All you do is you bulk up and get fat with putrid acidity, and you may look good for a short time. You see, meat eaters, they say, oh, we look better than the vegetarians. The vegetarians are skinny, but I'm nice and bulked up. Yeah, you're bulked up with acidic, putrid, vile toxins, and it looks good now because your body's swelled up, and it's only temporary. You will die of cancer and heart disease at 30, 40, 50, 60, but you won't make 150 like a vegan will. Absolutely not. And the quality of life, and the quality of life will be pure shit. You'll have headaches, you'll have piles and all of those things that everybody's got. Everybody I know that eats meat, they've all got diseases, and they've got 40 of them. They haven't got one. And they take all these pills one after another. Oh, this one's for me piles, this one's for me BO, and this one's for me stench, and this is for me stupidity, and this is for me asthma. How do you get all that shit?
They need to do liver flushes. Liver flushes. It's all about liver flushes.
And I've noticed it's also just like conforming to society. It's like, oh, well, I'm this, like my grandma uses this excuse all the time. Well, I'm just getting old. You know, she just accepts it as she's getting old. It's just like, that's a horrible way to live just because it's acceptable in society. You know, it's acceptable to feed these, like the demon, the gluttony demon, so it's enforced in all the commercials. I mean, good God, like one out of 3 commercials is enforcing this gluttonous meat-eating behavior, and it's like they're all feeding into this demon that's just gonna eat them alive and kill them.
Yeah, and then you see all these shows.
The older generation have a lot of limiting beliefs.
Programming, yep.
Yeah, because they're blockheads and they haven't made any progress intellectually, intelligently, mentally, or spiritually. None whatsoever. In fact, they're going backwards. When you go down the street, have you noticed how many people? Have you noticed how many people? They walk like this, you know, or they're walking like they're walking like they've never done one teeny weeny bit of exercise in all their life. They're walking like every cell of their body is blocked with toxins, and they actually somehow they believe that it's normal. They look around and everyone's fat, everybody's got pimply red faces full of toxins, sweating, and they actually accept this as normal. And then when you walk past with your freshness and your glow and your energy and you're happy and everything, they look at you and they think,
the hell, yep.
They look up and down and they think, well, what did you do wrong? Are you on drugs or something like that? You're supposed to be miserable and it's just so backward and so sad. I just hope we can reach so many people here, guys. I really do.
Yeah, so do I.
I think this is an amazing show so far. I think this is like the best thing ever to have hit YouTube.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely, rock on, sisters, and we're going to do this week in, week out until all demons are vanquished from this beautiful plane, and we will have music. We will, in eternity, we will have dancing and laughter. We will have joy and no wars, and all the implements of wars will be turned into plowshares and pruning shears, as Isaiah says, which is on the front, that scripture's quoted on the front of the UN building in the Rockefeller Center in New York. Yeah, they quote it, they put it in your face, but behind your back, that they are the ones who are funding war, the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, #1 families of death and demon worship on this planet. But we will have our music, guys. We will have our parties. We will have our joy and our good food, and we will have our respect of the Creator, because all of these teachings are teachings that violate the intelligence of the Creator. Because we are intelligent, and intelligence begets intelligence. So the source of intelligence must come from somewhere. There's no Big Bang, there's no evolution, there's no globe, there's no gravity, there's no relativity. These are all demon teachings that will be vanquished once the individual stops eating meat, because then their minds will be clear enough to think. And I'm hunching that most of the people who understand this are vegan or vegetarian at least.
Once you actually understand it and you feel it in your heart, that's it. You've completely changed your life forever.
Experiencing it for yourself.
Yeah, it's like feeling in your heart, it's that real expansion, real consciousness, feeling, you know, and feeling alive.
True communication with energy, absolutely.
Dear sisters, allow me to continue reading on, because this is going to delight your ears and strengthen your hearts as to your resolve to be on the pure path, and it will help many, many others. Please let us rejoice in the words of Ovid. Here we go. That time long since past, which we now refer to as golden, was blessed in the fruit of its trees and in its wild herbs, and in the absence of blood smeared on men's faces. In that time the birds flew through the air without danger. The fearless rabbit went wandering over the meadows, and the fish was not brought to the hook by its credulous nature. All lived without ambushes. None had to fear of deception, and peace was everywhere. But after that bringer of trouble, whoever he was, who envied the lion his dinner, had crammed his greedy gut with the flesh from a body. He led us down the wrong path, for it may be that iron was first stained with the warm blood of the heart of the butchered. This would not have been a crime had the creatures attacked us. For I say that any such beasts may be rightfully murdered, but those that we must destroy should never be eaten. You see, so basically what he's saying is, if you were really designed to eat meat, this is what people say to you. Oh, yes, but we are carnivores. No, we are not. We are absolutely not carnivore. Because if we were carnivore, I would be able to go out into the paddock over there, and I would be able to jump on a cow, and with my own teeth and with my own nails, I should be able to gouge into that carcass and bite and kill that cow with my own teeth and my own hands without implements, knives, guns, rifles, all sorts of mincing machines, cooking machines. I should be able to run down any animal with my own skills, and I should be able to devour them with carnivore teeth, which I do not have.
There's nothing even omnivorous about us. We're completely 100% herbivores. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And we don't even have the stomach acid for raw meat as well.
But the human body is just so amazing, and it will adapt to any situation that you give it. But that does not mean you should go out and eat meat.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that at all. Stupid.
Yep. Continuing on, dear sisters. And I'm doing pretty well. I don't need me little glasses there. Have you noticed?
No.
Plenty of light. Okay. Crimes even greater emerged from that one. The sow is thought to have merited death as a ritual victim because she uprooted new crops with her snout, thus depriving farmers of hope for the year. The goat was led to the altar to pay with his life for the sin of devouring Bacchus. These two then died for offences that they had committed. But what did you ever do, sheep, to merit your murder? There you go. Thank you, Ovid. Thank you, Ovid. It is murder, not slaughter and laughter. Murder. Meat eaters are murderers. What happens to murderers? Check your Bible, check Bhagavad Gita, check the Quran. Murderers will not inherit God's kingdom. Period. You who were born to serve man with milk from your udders, and with the soft wool underneath we make our garments. Your life is surely more useful to us than your death is. And what have you done, poor ox? So soulful and guileless, innocent simpleton, born to bear our labours. Wholly unmindful, unworthy, the gift of the earth's fruits is one who, after releasing him from the weight of the harness, strikes down the worker with whom he has broken the hard field as many times as it had given him harvests, and chop with his axe at the neck worn by exertion. Isn't that incredible?
Wow.
When you put it
beautiful.
in poetry like this, then the mind of the human being is elevated so that you can see what is a crime and what is not. For the scriptures tell us that the fool that does not know the difference between good and evil is just that, a fool. Now, is it enough that man has committed such misdeeds? The gods were charged with them too, were believed to take pleasure in dealing death out as the labour-bearing young bullock. Since that which makes him so pleasing is what will most harm him, a victim distinguished in figure and quite without blemish, his horns gilded, trailing bright ribbons, is led to the altar, where he, without comprehending them, listens to prayers and observes the barley he helped to cultivate sprinkled between his horns, perhaps even sees in the basin, held under his head by the priest, the knife blade reflected a moment before his blood is pulled into the water. At once they tear out the guts from the still living creature and scrutinize them in search of some heavenly purpose. So great is the human hunger to eat what is forbidden. You mortals will dare even to feed upon this? Don't you do it. I beg you, pay close attention to my admonition. And when you devour the flesh of your fresh butchered cattle, taste it and know you are eating your labour's companion. A God is directing my speech. I will speak as inspired, revealing, as though I were Delphi, the secrets of heaven, disclosing mysteries known but to the illuminated. I will sing of great issues, never before now uncovered by earlier thinkers and hidden until the present. For it delights me to travel up into the heavens, delights me to leave the earth's insipid abode, and riding on clouds, mount to the capable shoulders of Atlas, where I can look down on those wandering mortals, lacking in reason, anxious and fearful of dying. So in other words, he's saying, once you elevate your mind to the human heroic mind, you will never be anxious and fearful of dying, and because of murdering animals and the results of murdering animals.
That was beautiful.
So I've just got just a little bit more. And so, at the risk of repeating myself, I exhort you, lest your devotion be vanquished by the greed of your bellies. Stop this expulsion of slaughter of spirits like you. Thus, practice of feeding one creature on blood from another. This practice of feeding one creature from the blood of another. And since I am already embarked upon this great sea, have given full sails to the wind, hear me out. Nothing endures in this world. The whole of it flows, and all is formed with a changing appearance. Even these passes, constant in motion, no different from a great river. For neither a river nor a transitory hour is able to stand still, but just as each wave is driven ahead by another, urged on from behind, and urging the next wave before it is an unbroken sequence, so the times flee, and at the same time they follow, and always are new. For what has just been is no longer, and what has not been will presently come into being, and every moment's occupation is a renewal. So basically he is admonishing us to see the transitory nature of things, and that we do not need to feast on the blood of animals. We have plenty of great foods and fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds, which are our true food.
And how beautiful are fruit and vegetables?
And how abundant, you know? There's
Yeah.
I think there was something I saw on the internet. It was like 70,000 different varieties. Like 70,000, and you want to go kill an animal? Like, really? Come on now.
Yeah. So many nutrients. And why do we filter our nutrients through animals? That's another thing, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah, it's quite strange. It's quite bizarre, and to a good proper vegetarian or vegan, it is sickening. It is truly, truly sickening that we can do such things, and we will never have peace. We won't have music or dancing or rejoicing until such time as we stop murdering and abusing animals. That is my prophecy. That is the truth. It is absolute truth. And as for these idiots who say there is no truth, you know, what makes me so sick is to hear truthers, swine eaters, and demon worshippers, and when they come back and say there is no truth, where do these idiots come from?
That's about as stupid as atheism.
It's as stupid as anything else. That is totally and utterly erroneous. The whole universe is builded on truth. The Creator is truth. Truth is a being. It is a living, breathing, conscious being. Truth is intelligence. It's not a word. There is no truth. What a bunch of dunce morons that we have become. It's so sad. It is so sad. And these people call themselves truthers. Folks, I say to you, anyone out there, anyone who says that they're a truther, just ask yourself a question. Do they eat dead corpses? If they do, they are spewing forth vomitous falsehood from their foul-smelling mouths and their putrid, demonized brains. Run away. Only listen to vegans and vegetarians for your truth.
Yeah.
And that's what this channel is all about. Turn away from meat eaters. They are liars. They are all deceptive liars, murderous swine eaters. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So bad. I hope we can inspire them all to become vegan. I really, really do. Because it really is needed. Really, really is needed.
And there's so much just fakeness out there with the vegan movement. I mean, I know it's for a great cause, but a lot of people do it for their egos, and they're posting a bunch of mainstream things, and it's like I appreciate that they're still trying to get the vegan message out there, but it's not done in a pure way at all.
I think it is ego. It's a lot of ego. It's like you see these steak houses, and they've got these big burgers and their milkshake and their McDonald's. Oh, I ate a massive steak and a massive burger. It's all of that. It's all the ego. I don't know why, guys, but it's nuts. It's absolutely crazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's how you get people who say, "Oh, I was a vegetarian for 7 years, and that was the worst thing I did, and now I'm eating meat, and now I'm healthy and happy."
I know.
Retarded morons par excellence. And one of those is a guy in California who thinks he's a truther called Jan Irvin. He actually interviews other demon-worshipping swine eaters on his radio show, and I've heard him personally. I've heard him say, "Oh yes, I was a vegetarian for 7 years. The worst thing I ever did. Now I enjoy having bacon and eggs for breakfast. That sizzling bacon, and I love. It's so crispy." What a retard! You know what, folks? Unsubscribe from his radio channel. Make him go broke so that he can shut the F up. He is a stone motherless, dumb as dog poo, ignoramus. No meat eater tells any truth, period. Period. They can't tell truth. Their minds are deranged. They are deranged idiots.
It's true. What about these people that when you tell them you're a vegan, and they basically tell you what they've been eating the day before. I mean,
Yeah, the ego trip,
it's just,
absolutely.
there's people that do that to me, and I'm like, all right, they're trying to like provoke a reaction out of me, but I just it's it's your choice. I can't make you be a vegan, but why do they do that? I don't really
Mhm.
get it. Like, obviously I think they feel threatened because obviously we look really healthy and we look vibrant and we look obviously we've got a bit of knowledge. I think they feel so threatened that they
Oh
just
yeah,
call out. Yeah, and
the,
they have to tell us what they've been eating, like loads of pork. Yeah,
oh,
great.
that's what
Well,
you meant. I thought you were talking about the vegans that are like, I ate this yesterday. No, absolutely, those are just demons
no,
inside trying to
I
attack
mean the
you.
non-vegans. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
they're for sure
non-vegans do
demons.
it, and they tell you how much pork they ate.
Mhm. They're fucking assholes. Excuse me.
Yeah, basically.
They're disgusting, vile pieces of crap.
I mean, can't they
Yeah.
just look in the mirror and see the wrinkly, pasty, cheesy-looking face that they have from all of the... You are what you eat.
Yeah,
If
you are
you
what you
eat a
eat.
pig, yeah, if you eat a pig's bum, well then, what are you? Because you've
Mhm.
eaten a pig's bum, so you are what?
A pig's bum.
Pig's
You're
bum.
a pig's bum. You're a pig's ass, man. That's
Mhm.
what you are.
You can
So
see.
people like Jan Irvin, they need to shut the F up, get off their little soapboxes, pure dunces, no truth coming out of their mouth, just vile stupidity from a deranged, insane mind. Their
Mhm.
blood is full of bits of blood particles of animals. Why would you want to introduce blood particles from another being, period? Why
Mhm.
would you want to do that when you can have chlorophyll from green plants, when you can have water and
Mhm.
minerals,
Life.
Yep.
Mhm.
life?
Mhm.
So
Mm.
I guess we can just enjoy being so sexy and vegan,
And healthy and happy.
and it's
Yeah.
just great when we look in the mirror because we don't see wrinkles, you know, we don't see eyes that are you know, that have no
Puffy.
fire in them. Our
Mhm.
eyes are fiery with love and divine bliss and goddessness and godship and health and vitality and vibrance and purity and strength
Yeah.
and energy and love.
Absolutely.
That just makes sense, doesn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah. It does. 100.
Absolutely.
100%.
100%, guys.
100.
Mhm. This has been such a treat. I am just so happy that we had this show, and I'm really grateful for both of you for your insights, and I'm excited for more to come. And I guess on that note, did you want to read more, or how long did you want to keep this going?
Well,
If you
it's up
both
to you.
want to.
I always see shows as going for 2 hours. A nice time for me. We started about
Absolutely.
an hour and 20 minutes ago. That depends on you girls. Are you happy with just say an hour and a half, or do you want to go the full 2 hours?
I'm cool with whatever. What about you,
I don't
Kimmy?
mind. I'm really happy to be here, so I don't mind.
Same. Exactly.
Mhm.
Mhm.
All right. Well, look. Let's do another 10 minutes then, eh?
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll make these 1.5 hours,
Mhm.
and probably because the more concise and precise they are, the better. And
Mhm.
this is the message of all messages. There's only one way forward, and that is to stop abusing animals. As
Mhm.
we treat animals, we will be treated by our controllers. So every day you eat an animal, you will be eaten, your energy will be parasited, you will be harvested, you will go to jail, you will have to pay taxes, exorbitant taxes, you will have an overlord, you will have some demon controlling you because you are a demon treating inferior life forms
Mhm.
as a demon. They're not inferior. Animals are
Yeah.
superior, if anything.
Yeah.
Universal law. It's in every commandment known to any religion. Do unto others as you would want done unto you. And until people get that and stop making these excuses. Oh, thou shalt not kill, but I can go murder this animal and eat it. You know, thou shalt not do this, that, but, you know.
Yeah, okay, look, I'd like to now read from Seneca. Seneca was a vegetarian. He was, he lived just a handful of years after Ovid, and he was actually the philosopher to Nero, the most evil, one of the most evil emperors of Rome. But Augustus, Ovid was exiled by Augustus to an island for preaching all of these good things about vegetarianism and Pythagoreanism or whatever. I made that up. But the ways of the vegetarian Pythagoreans, put it that way. And so he was a great man in the 1st century, and this is what he said. How long shall we weary heaven with petitions for superfluous luxuries, as though we had not at hand here wherewithal to feed ourselves? How long shall we fill our plains with huge cities? How long shall the people slave for us unnecessarily? How long shall countless numbers of ships from every sea bring us provisions for the consumption of a single month? An ox is satisfied with the pasture of an acre or two. One wood suffices for several elephants. Man alone supports himself by the pillage of the whole earth and sea. What? Has nature indeed given us so insatiable a stomach, while she has given us such insignificant bodies? No, it is not the hunger of our stomachs, but insatiable covetousness which costs so much. In the simpler times, and that came from his book called Epistola, book number 1, Epistola. Further on, reading. In the simpler times, there was no need of so large a supernumerary force of medical men, nor of so many surgical instruments, or of so many boxes of drugs. Health was simple, for a simple reason. Many dishes have induced many diseases. Note how vast a quantity of lives one stomach absorbs. Insatiable, unfathomable, gluttony searches every land and every sea. Some animals it persecutes with snares and traps, with hunting nets, with hooks, sparing no sort of toil to obtain them. There is no peace allowed to any species of being. No wonder that with so discordant diet, disease is ever varying. Count the cooks, you will no longer wonder at the innumerable number of human maladies.
Wow.
So, as I said before, you got piles, you got heartburn, you got any disease, it's because you're eating dead corpse. It's pretty simple. And Seneca said it 2,000 years ago, clearly. He said clearly, it is diseases come from dishes. Dishes of stinking, foul, putrefying flesh. Doesn't matter how much you put condiments on that flesh and to disguise the stench. This is why they have abattoirs outside the suburbs, away from the smell of people, so that people don't get wind of what's going on and the stench of death. And that's why in the restaurants they've got no end of spices and oils and condiments and seasonings to bathe that corpse in, so that you think, oh, isn't it delicious? Because the flesh has texture, you see, with all those condiments, to deceive the mind of the insane crime that you are committing. It's insanity. If these maxims are true, the Pythagorean principles as to abstaining from flesh foster innocence. If ill-founded, they at least teach us frugality. And what loss have you in losing your cruelty? I merely deprive you of the food of lions and vultures. We shall recover our sound reason only if we shall separate ourselves from the herd. The very fact of the approbation of the multitude is a proof of the unsoundness of the opinion or practice. Let us ask what is best, not what is customary. Let us love temperance. Let us be just. Let us refrain from bloodshed. None is so near the gods as he who shows kindness. Thank you very much.
That's it.
That's it. And more to come. Next week we've got Leonardo da Vinci.
Yeah,
Next week we've
Leonardo
got
da Vinci.
Porky.
Yeah. I look forward to
greats.
it, Santos. Yeah.
Absolutely.
See you then.
All right, guys. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Much love. And we'll
Much
see
love.
you next week.
Bye. See you next
Thank
time.
you.
Bye.